Hey guys, quick heads up before I start the video. The link down below takes you to my Patreon, where you can download the project files for this video. Also gain access to my premium tutorials and in-depth courses where we build games together from start to finish. Check out my Patreon below, gain direct access to years of experience so that you can start working on your dream game tomorrow. Hi guys, and welcome back to a new episode of my multiplayer Bean Battle Royale tutorial series. So in the last episode we made everything a bit more flexible yet again, so we worked on actually having our tools having some transformations so that they fit nicer in the back slot or in the active weapon slot. And then we added the health pack so that the players can now actually use the health pack and consume the health pack or put it on their back if they don't want to use it yet. So that's all great. And then in this video we're going to be working on making sure that we actually determine a winner for our game. So when the players start killing each other, when there is one player left, then we basically want to say, okay, this guy is the winner of the match. We want to announce the winner to everybody using some widget that then displays the winner name. And then inside of that widget, we want to basically present all the players with an option to leave the session so that they basically finished the match, go back to the main menu and can play again. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this. So first of all, we're gonna make that little widget. So if we go over to our widgets folder, game widgets, then yeah, this is getting a bit of a mess. So we got a player count, health bar, all that stuff. So we're gonna make a new folder and let's call this winner announcement. And then we open it up. Then we're gonna do user widget, widget blueprint, user widget. So WB underscore, let's see, match result. Let's just call it a match result. Actually, this folder here, let's also call it match results. I think that's a bit nicer in it. Then we hit save. Then we open this guy up, and then let's see here. So we want to get a canvas panel, and then we want to blur the background. Let's just say that we want to do that. So then go to special ground effect, background blur. Now the background blur, we want to anchor it full screen. So just like it says here, hold Control and then hold Shift. So hold Control, left click, hold Shift, left click. And then we hit compile and save. Now the background blur, you want to set it to a nice amount, but not too much. So I don't know, let's say, what is 5? Let's set it to 5 for now. Hit compile, save, and then, yeah, I know guys, I hit compile, save like every second. I don't know, that I'm just, you know guys, it doesn't really matter, but if you just hit compile every now and then, that's good. Then we want to get, let's see, we want to get a border in here, I think, yeah, a border. We're going to put that border in the middle of the screen, like this, so we're going to anchor it like this one. And then we're going to change the color first of all. So let's make it something, I don't know, let's go for blue this time. So we're going to do blue. Let's say that we want to wrap it then with a size box. Then we can determine the height. So here, height, we're going to type in, let's try 250. And then if it doesn't apply, then of course you need to hit size to content here. So let's try maybe 350. Yeah, something like that. Then we want to have inside of the border, let's do a vertical box. You can obviously style it however you guys see fit for your games, right? So I'm just making something random here that works for me, but you just make it however you like it. I'm going to put the vertical box in the center, and then also in the center like this. In here, we're going to drag in some text, and we're going to say, let's say, well, this is free for all battle royale, of course, so let's say the winner is double point. The winner is, and then we style the font. Let's make bold italic 35. Can be quite big. Then we're going to duplicate this, and then this should be the winner name. So here should be the gamer name. Now the gamer name needs to be variable, so we're going to call this winner name underscore text. Make it a variable. We're going to center all this stuff. So this one, we're going to center it. The name, we're going to center it. The name itself, we're just going to keep that bold. And then this, let's actually make it just italic. Then we want to have some spacing. So with the top text selected, we can do some padding in between. Say 25, and that is fine. Now the winner name, let's actually make it 50. It needs to be nice and big. Now, obviously, you guys can animate this widget however you like. I'm just going to do a very rough and quick animation on the canvas panel itself. So I'm going to click here, call it load in. So this might load in animation. And all I wanted to do is just to appear with some transparency. So render opacity here. And then after 0.35, we're going to set it to 1. And at 0, we're going to set it to 0. So then hub, it just appears like this. Beautiful. Then, like I said, we want to have a button so that we can click leave match. So then we're going to scroll down, go to user created, because we had made the base button from before, right? So we're going to drag it into the canvas panel. Then we're going to anchor this guy to, let's say, the bottom of the screen. There we go. And then a bit up. So let's do the Y, let's do -200. No, that's too much. -150. There we go. Then we're going to hit size to content. And we then want to change the text here. So the text needs to say return to main menu. Or you can also simply call it leave game. Leave game. And then the font, let's make it something like 25. So that's actually, let's do 35. Hit compile save. Let's rename this button to leave game _button. Compile save. There we go. Then we can head over to our graph, and then we're going to get our event construct. So on event construct, we obviously want to play the animation. So we go and drag off here and type in play animation. Hook this guy up. Then we want to click our, if we click away from the animation, because otherwise you see that state. Then we click our leave game button, scroll all the way down, click on here. This needs to do something. So what does this leave game need to do? Well, as you might remember, if we hit play, then in the beginning of this tutorial series we made it so if you press T, which you can later on assign to escape, that you got this little in-game menu here and you actually got to see your mouse. And then here we had leave session, and we basically want to set up the same functionality that we had there. So if we locate that widget blueprint game menu, then we here see the leave game button. We can then go to its event, and then we see that we called this little function called leave session. So that's the same thing that we want to do here. So we just type in leave session. Then we had this beautiful function from our function library. And then we hit compile save, and there we go. So next up, we want to actually add that widget to the screen. But to do that, first of all, we need to determine when we actually have a winner. So we go here to our blueprints folder, then go to game modes, gameplay this time, and then gameplay game state. Then here we have some functionality. So what we see here is that we had an event for notifying when a player dies. So the event notifying when the player dies basically set our current amount of players. And then we also see that our current amount of players was set over here when we notify player connections. And notifying player connections, if we take a look inside of our gameplay game mode, then we saw that we had this logic for when players connect, we notify a player connection, and when players disconnect, we notify player connection. So whenever players disconnect and the match is ongoing, then we also want to basically keep track of the players that have lost. And then that can also trigger that the match is over. So let's say you're in the session with 2 players, guy leaves, you're the only one left, and the match has started. Then that means that you automatically also need to be assigned as the winner, right? So what we're going to do is that we're basically going to count how many of the actual characters are still inside of our session. So what we're going to do is, if you take a look here at the world settings, then we see that it goes for the gameplay character. So inside of the gameplay game state, we're going to make a function that's going to count how many gameplay characters there are. If there is only one gameplay character, whenever we notify a dev or a connection, then we can say, then that one guy that is left is automatically our winner. So if we go here to function, then we're going to call this check is game done? Question mark, or you can say finished. I think finished is better. So let's do finished. Check is game finished. So like I said, what is this going to do? Well, on the server, first of all, so switch has authority, because only the server has to do this type of logic. We're going to check if we have any players left. So if we type in get all actors of class, get all actors of class, then the class is the gameplay character. And then out of here, we can basically see how many there are. If we type in length, so if we do length, then out of here comes a length. So if this returns 1, we know that the match is actually over. So we're going to drag out of here and type in equal to 1. And if that is the case, then we can say, okay, the match is done. We're going to be announcing our winner. So when does this function need to get called? Well, like I said, it needs to get called over here whenever we notify a player def. So here we can then say check is game finished. And also whenever players are connecting and disconnecting. So also over here, we're going to check is this game finished. So first of all, let's print string this to check how this works. So we're going to print string directly off of here and put the number of players in here. Then let's print string it for, let's say, 10 seconds. And then before we test this, we also basically want to run a little delay before we do them. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to make a custom event and we're going to call this check if game finished ? And then off of the check is game finished, here we can basically, well, we shouldn't make this a function. We should just copy all this logic. Let's paste it just directly in here into the graph. Why not? So let's put this somewhere underneath here, and then we remove this function here and this one here. So here we're just gonna call check if game finished. And then up here also check if game finished. Now the reason I'm moving this over to this event is because we basically want to add a little delay. So I'll explain that right now. So basically what does that mean? We do the check, we get the amount of players, but at the moment that the player died here instantly, then the player might not be counted. And at the moment that the player connects here, then if we do it instantly, then the player might not have spawned with the character yet. So that can basically be a bit messy and mess up our logic. So what we're going to do instead is that we're going to put a little delay here. So let's say if the players die, we give it 1 second to check if the players, how many players there actually are. So if we now hit play, then we can see the print string. So it says 1 player, 2 players. So that's great. Then we're going to go over to a loot crate, grab a pistol, and we're going to eliminate this guy. There we go. So now it says server 1. It's very small in the top left corner. It says server 1. So our logic is correct and it works. So then we plug it all up. Just like this. So when we're going off of the true, then we basically want to say, okay, we have a winner. And then we want to simply present everybody with that UI, then give them, present the winner name and also give them the opportunity to actually leave the session. But of course, people can also leave during the 60-second countdown. So before the match starts, players can also leave. And in that case, we do not want to obviously check if the game is finished. So we only want to check if the game is finished if the match has started, essentially. So we can simply check that over here. So we know that we have a match countdown. And then inside of this logic, we said when it is 0 seconds, we want to spawn players in the airplane. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply copy this logic. And then we're going to say that we only check this if the countdown is at 0 seconds. And if the countdown is 0 seconds, then that means the match has started, of course. So in between here, we're going to hook up our little logic. Boom, boom. Check out Cactus Center right now on Steam and Early Access. It's a very fun multiplayer video game, cheaper than a Starbucks coffee. So if you want to have a good time with your friends or strangers, click that link down below. And I appreciate every single one of you. And enjoy the rest of the video. Bye. And make it look nice. And then there we go. So if the match has started and 1 player is detected, then we want to show all players that we have a winner. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to make a variable and we're going to call it winner name, because that's actually all that we want to show, the winner name. And then we're going to make it a string and we're going to make it a rep notify, hit compile, save. So when this is true, we want to set the winner name and then the rep notify will handle the rest. So the way that we're going to do that is, well, we know that we have 1 player, so we're going to get the only one that exists, which is the one at index 0. And then we're going to drag out of here. We're going to type in get player state. And then we're going to drag out of the player state and type in get player name. There we go. And we're going to hook it up in here. Hit compile, save. So how come that we can just set the rep notify like this? Well, we do the check finished event only on the server. So we know that this here gets fired from our game mode, which only exists on the server. So then this happens on the server. And then we know that notifying player devs also only happens on the server. So on the server, player dies, sends a little notification to this game state that the player died. We then We then adjust this current amount of players and we adjust the kill feed, and then we basically, so we know that we're on the server here. Then we do the check is finished event, so we're on the server. So on the server, we set the rep notify, and here we go. So then over here, we want to do something for everybody. So first of all, if the winner name is not empty, we're going to say is empty, and then we're going to hold B, left click to get a branch. So if the player name is not empty, then for every client, and keep in mind rep notify happens on the server and on all clients. Well, we want to then basically create our widget on all the clients. So then we type in get player controller. This one, we're going to drag off of here, type in is local player controller. This one, we're going to hold B, left click to branch. So on the local player controller, we then want to do create widgets. Now the widget that we want to create is that match result widget. So this one, the owning player can be our player controller. So we can also just make it a bit nicer. Plug that into here. Then this widget we want to add to viewport. So we want to put it in our screen. We then want to drag off of the player controller once more and type in set show mouse cursor to true. So we want to see a mouse cursor. Here we go. And we want to focus it. So we also want to drag off and set, or drag off of here and then type in set input modes. And then you can do UI only to make the player not be able to move anymore, or game and UI. And then the player controller, yet again, is going to be this guy. And the widget to focus is going to be the guy that we created. So there we go. Yep, then we can hit compile, save, then we can debug it quickly. So I can either just play a whole match, right? Or I can just test it up here. So if I just do begin play, and then on the server, so switch has authority, we want to delay, let's say we wait for 5 seconds, and then after 5 seconds, we just set the winner name to something. So let's say the winner name is Da. Then let's see if the widget gets created. So first of all, on the server here, we wait for 5 seconds. And then here we go. So we get the widget. We see everything. It animated in. We get a mouse. I can instantly click it, focus it, and also click on leave game. And then on the client, let's see if that works too. There we go. We got the client. We can walk around, wait 5 seconds, and there we go. So now we just need to get that name into the widget over here. So that's going to be very simple. Inside of our rep notify, here we create a widget. If we open up the widget, then we see that we made this a variable, so winner name text. And then all that we're going to do is on event construct, we want to set the winner name text as well. So we're going to drag off here, type in set text, and then this guy. We're actually going to put it in front of the animation. So we want to set the text already before we do the animation. And then the text here is going to be promote the variable, and let's call it winner name. Actually, I want this to be a string, so let's change it to a string. And then if we disconnect this, hook it up, there we go. Then hit compile, save. Then with the winner name selected, we're going to click on instance editable, expose on spawn. Hit compile, save once more. And then we see that if we then refresh the create widget, we can then plug in the winner name here, which is our winner name from over here. Hit compile, save, and that's it. So let's remove this begin play logic. And then in class defaults, we're going to set our countdown to something like 10 seconds. And then let's properly test it. So we're going to do 2 players, listen server, hit play. So I'm just gonna cheat a little bit and quickly grab a gun. Here we go. So now we both spawn into the airplane. We see that we got 2 survivors. So let's jump out onto the map. And then we're gonna glide, let's say somewhere over here. Okay, so this guy glides over here. Then we're gonna have this guy jump out. So where was he? Oh, there he is. So then we're gonna glide to our friend who's going to kill us. Not really a friend. Okay, here we go. So we got 2 players. Now the client is gonna kill this guy. Oh, he looks so sad, right? He looks so sad. Okay, so here we go. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang. Reload. Bang. Okay, 1 survivor, and both of us see that it is that guy who is the winner. There we go. And then they can both click on leave, which brings them back to the menu. So since they were connected and then the server disconnected, then obviously that basically caused an error for the client because the session just shut down, and then that brings the client back to the menu as well. So now we can go back into our game state here and we can clean things up a little bit. So you could collapse this to a function if you would like that. So actually I'm going to do that. So I'm going to collapse to function and I'm going to say determine winner and then hook it up here. Now this check is game finish function was from earlier. We can remove that, hit compile, save. There we go. Put a comment around this and let's call it check if the game is finished. Okay, let's hit compile, save once more, and there we go. So guys, that's it for this video. In this video, we learned how we can actually determine the winner and then present everybody with that winner inside of their screen. In the next episode, we're going to be working on the actual blue zone so that the map can get smaller and the players can get damaged by the blue zone. If you guys like this episode, then please hit that like and subscribe. If you want to play around with this yourself, you can download it on my Patreon, link down below in the description. I appreciate all of you and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!